In today's video, I'm going to share with you 7 profound essential steps to get your first rental property in any market. Now, I work with a lot of investors and a lot of first-timers that jumped into the market, and they often ask me, what are some steps that they should take to avoid pitfalls and get that right deal? So I'm going to share it here with you today. Now, if these steps are followed with diligence and focus, you will be successful. So let's get started. Number 1, have a plan. Now, I know this sounds very cliche, and a lot of you are thinking, well, that's it. Well, this is the most important step that's going to lead you to the next steps. Having a plan means you need to ask yourself, why are you getting into the real estate market to invest? Now, are you getting into the real estate market to buy a rental property to get cash flow immediately, or are you okay to get cash flow in the long run? Now, these are both 2 very important questions. They're different because right now the market is a seller's market where the prices are high and we have the interest rates almost touching 8%. So you need to ask both of these questions now. Or if cash flow is not your thing, are you going to buy and hold and build equity over the life of the loan and just hold on to the property until you retire and then you're going to sell it and then pocket that money, or are you going to will it off to your kids? So you need to ask yourself, why are you wanting to get your first rental property? Now, if you are brand new to this and you lack the basic knowledge, and if you're thinking, well, how do I start? Where do I start? How do I build a plan? Do exactly what you're doing right now. You're watching this video because you searched it on YouTube and you're watching it now. Watch more videos, listen to more podcasts, strike more conversations with people at home, at work, at family gatherings. Anyone that owns a real estate property or owns investment properties, talk to those folks, go on forums, fill your mind up, increase your learning curve, educate yourself on the real estate market, and answer that very important question. Why real estate? Why do you want to invest in real estate? And build that plan. Number 2, financing. Figure out your financing. How are you going to buy this transaction? If you're going to buy a cash, that's a different story. But if you're going to finance it like most people, you need to go to a loan officer, find a lender that will help you finance your first rental property. Now, when you're buying investment properties, your down payment is usually going to be anywhere from 20 to 30%. So if you're buying a $400,000 property, you're going to need about $100,000 down plus closing costs. Yes, guys, if you have about $1,000 to $2,000 in your wallet or in your savings right now, you have to think of creative ways to get more money, maybe partner with somebody or save up, because that amount is not going to get you a rental property. I'm going to say it straight, plain and simple. You're going to need 20 to 30% down. So when you need to talk to a lender and figure out with where you stand, what your income is and what your current financial situation is, what your income is going to allow you to buy in this market. Once you figure that out, your loan officer is going to tell you what your mortgage payment is going to be. That's going to in turn help you figure out your cap rate and your return on investment, which, don't worry, I'm going to get into that later in this video. But you need to talk to a loan officer right away to figure out what your payment's going to be. And a very, very important part in today's market is going to be your credit score. And especially if you're getting an investment property, the credit score impacts it heavily. So if your credit score is under 700, it's not a bad credit score, but it's not the best. It's not going to get you a good rate. You want to have your credit score at least up to a 750, 760 plus to get the best rate. Otherwise, if you're buying an investment property, your rate's going to be very high and it's going to be very hard for you to get a cash flowing property because now your mortgage payment is very high and the rent is just not enough to match that or even break even. So credit score is very, very crucial. Knowing your mortgage numbers is just going to make the whole transaction flow much, much smoother because you know what you can afford. And now you're not going to be looking at houses that you can't afford, because you look at a house first that you can afford, you go look at it and you find out you can't afford it. It just messes up the whole process. So you want to be effective and just help yourself save a lot of time and lose a lot of stress. So get qualified. Number 3, build your real estate team. The 2 most crucial partners on top of your loan officer are going to be your real estate agent and your real estate contractor. Your real estate agent's going to be able to tell you what areas to look in, going to send you pocket listings that are probably not available on Zillow. They're going to look at your numbers and tell you what area and market to focus on. Now, to find the best real estate agent, like I said earlier, the best place to be is talk to someone that's already done this before you. Ask them what agent they use, how the agent was, interview that agent, look online for reviews, and find an agent out there that has good reviews and someone that energy matches your energy. We all know this, the market that we're in. Home prices are high, rates are high. It's already very high to find a turnkey cash flowing property. So you need to get creative. Now, I'm not recommending that on your first deal, on your first rental property, go and find a big fixer-upper that you've never done before. That's not what I'm saying here. But if you find a property that needs a little bit of tender care and love, meaning that the kitchen needs to have new flooring, or maybe their carpet needs to be replaced, or the outside paint is fading away, you need to get it painted. Those kinds of aesthetic, cosmetic things can be repaired. And that's something you may want to take on that risk, because that's gonna help you find that property that's cash flowing. So having a real estate contractor in your back pocket that is responsive, very communicative, and shows up on time and knows what they're doing is gonna be very crucial to finding that right deal and executing on it. Number 4, pick your market or area. Not all markets and areas are going to fit your criteria or the thing that you're trying to achieve. For example, if you live in a higher tier or upper end market where the school district is a 10 out of 10 and your goal is cash flow, I can bet you that 99 times out of 100, you're not going to cash flow in those areas. You're probably going to want to look in the middle area. In the bottom areas, the lower areas where it's not safe, in those areas you might not find the best tenants. You may not be able to find quality tenants that you would want to retain on the long run. So my suggestion to you would be to look in an area that maybe has a 5 out of 10 or a 6 out of 10, maybe even a 7 out of 10 on a school district. It's not the high end, the best school area, but it's a safe neighborhood, and a lot of people would want to live there because it's safe, and at the same time it's also affordable. So finding tenants in those areas may be a lot easier, as opposed to if you went to an upper tier market, which already is going to have a little bit of a higher rent, but then your mortgage payment is going to be very high. You're not going to cash flow. So it's really crucial to figure out what market and area to look in, and you want to determine that before you go hit the streets. Now, I'm not telling you what strategy to employ here. I just gave you an example. Your goals are your goals. It's either it's cash flow, it's equity in the long run, or maybe it is the best school district and you want to hang on to it for 30 years. That's going to be your why. It's going to be step number 1 for you. But it's very crucial that you figure out what market, and you pick a market that you want to focus on, and your team that you're building, your real estate agent, can help you figure out this step. Number 5, you need to have a healthy pipeline. Now, what do I mean by that? Healthy pipeline means you need to have enough leads coming in on potential deals. So you need to let your real estate agent know to set you up on a drip where you give them a criteria of what you're looking for, and these deals hit your inbox. This is very crucial, so you have potential deals coming in and you're practicing your numbers on these deals, because if you don't have the flow or the influx of properties coming in, how are you going to figure out what property to buy? So it's very crucial you have good properties coming in. And on top of that, you can continue to search on Realtor.com, Zillow.com, and all the online MLS websites that are out there that you're going to be searching on. But the main thing here on this point, on this step, is that you have a healthy flow of incoming ideas, incoming deals come in that you can run numbers on, you can be diligent on. So it allows you to be in the works, and it allows you to practice the numbers on these deals. And you want to look at a lot of deals. Obviously, if you find a deal on the first try, that's awesome, but it's very rare that happens, and I wouldn't recommend that. So you want to practice, and have a healthy pipeline of potential deals coming to you. Now that you have a healthy pipeline of leads coming in, this leads to our next step, step number 6, run your numbers on your deals and practice. Real estate has fairly fixed costs that can help you forecast a good number for the future. Now, let's look at a scenario together. And you have your down payment, your mortgage payment, you have vacancy, you have insurance, you have management fees, you have real estate taxes, etc. These are some fixed costs that you have, which we're going to be looking at in a second. But the point in this step is to practice. That way you build confidence, so when that deal pops up and you need to take action, you can do so without hesitating. If you are really getting value and are enjoying this content, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and don't be shy to leave me a comment, because I love to hear from you. Thank you for watching. Let's look at a scenario here on the board. We're going to look at the cap rate. If you're buying real estate, this is a acronym commonly thrown around, which is an assessment of the yield that you're going to make on the potential property you're going to buy, expressed over the year. So cap rate, we're going to look at here on the board. This one number that we're going to look at is going to be without acquisition cost. That means as if you're buying this property cash, and we're not going to count the cash you put down. So let's look at it. Say you bought a $440,000 property. That's the purchase price. And let's just say, we're talking here in the Bay Area, but you're venturing out. Maybe you're going to the Central Valley to pick up a property, and I'm trying to be real as possible here so I can give you some real tangible numbers in this market where the rates are high and it's a seller's market. So let's say you're an investor from the Bay Area and you're looking to buy your first property, and you're moving out either to Sacramento or you're going out to, say, the Tracy, Manteca, Lathrop area. And you're buying a property for $450,000, and the property that we're buying here is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, and the rent on this property is $2,800 a month. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and the annual rent will be $33,600. Now, the annual expenses on this, you have utilities, let's just estimate it around $2,000, insurance of $1,300, maintenance fee of about $1,000, which something breaks, you got to go fix it. And remember, these are express, these are for on an annual basis. Real estate taxes, I use a tax bracket of real estate tax bracket of 1.2%, which can be different in each state. Here in California, it's around this. So your total annual taxes are going to be $5,400. Management fee, it's usually 7% of the annual rent, and that'll equate to $2,352. Now that's optional. I would not recommend getting a manager on one property. Why I say that is because you get to learn a lot more when you manage it yourself, but it's totally your choice. So let's keep moving. Now net cash flow on that, taking out the rent off the expenses, your net cash flow will be $21,548, and your cap rate would be 5.38%, not including the management fee. If you include the management fee, your cap rate would be 4.86%, which includes the management fee. Now, that number sounds pretty good, right? So don't get too excited. Like I said earlier, this does not include your acquisition costs. It does not include the mortgage of the property, the mortgage of the property you're buying. It does not include the money you've put down. It does not include closing costs. You're probably wondering why this number is thrown out there. A lot of agents and a lot of real estate companies use this number, especially when they put investment properties out there and you read a cap rate, but you want to read between the lines and you want to know, is it including the mortgage payment? And most times it's not including that, but I just wanted to show you that there. But now let's go and look at the return on investment. Essentially, you can still call it the cap rate, but this return on investment is going to include acquisition costs, your down payment and your closing costs. So let's say the property that we're purchasing is still $450,000. It's still a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Down payment is going to be $112,500. That's about 25% of the purchase price. Closing costs are going to be about $10,000. Loan amount on this would be $3,337,500. Mortgage payment would be $2,476.46. The rates right now, guys, if you had a 760 credit score, is around 8%. So you're looking at annual expenses still stay the same, like we had before, and your net cash flow on this would be a negative $8,170 with an ROI of negative 6.67%. Ouch. I know that hurts there, but please stay with me. The main reason for that is, first of all, we put 25% down. We're in a high market, and you have to be super creative now to find something that actually cash flows, because you have high prices and you have high rates, would increase your mortgage payment, okay? So now let's see what happens if the rate had fallen to 5%. Now these rates are not going to be sitting here forever, that most economists are thinking that rates are going to come down. But my goal in this video, like I mentioned earlier, is to give you realistic numbers so you can figure out what deal works for you. And I'm trying to give you different scenarios here. So if the rate's at 5%, your net cash flow is going to be negative 196. Your ROI is going to be negative 0.16%, essentially saying that if the rates were to drop and this scenario stayed the same and you finance this transaction, you're probably gonna cash flow, you're right there breaking even. Not a bad formula. Your tenant would probably pay the mortgage for you if you were to keep this loan for the long run, and essentially you're gonna build equity, and 20 years pass by, you've built that equity. So that might be a model to go with, but you're not cash flowing yet. Now say that you're putting 50% down, which is gonna be $225,000. Everything else stays the same. You're looking at a loan amount of $225,000. Now, if you put 50% down and you have a 760 credit score, still the same scenario as before, but you're putting 50% down, you can also get a better interest rate. Now you're getting a 7% rate because your LTV, your loan to value, is a lot lower. You're putting more down. The lender gives you a better interest rate. Mortgage payment would be $1,496.93. Your net cash flow on this scenario would be $3,596, and your return on investment, which includes your down payment, your closing costs, your mortgage payment, would be 1.53%. So you're definitely a positive cash flow with the 50% down. And say if the rates dropped and you put 50% down and the rate was 5%, in that scenario, your net cash flow would be $7,052 with a return on investment of 3%. Now, I know we looked at a lot of different numbers there, and the initial numbers were kind of scary where the numbers are negative, but I want you to understand the main factor for that being negative or lower or not cash flowing is primarily because the rates are very high. It skyrockets your payments. So it's paramount that you work with the best people in the industry, in the market. You find an awesome real estate agent, you find an awesome contractor, and you do the math and you know the numbers that we just talked about, and you rehearse these numbers and you practice these numbers so you know and you're confident in what you're getting. And it's gonna have to be a creative solution for you to find something right now that's cash flowing. But there are a lot of deals out there still to be made. When we discuss cap rates and return on investment, is your equity that you build yield on the house. So this cap rate or the return on investment that you're making on an annual basis, this is the cash flow that the property is generating after the money that you've invested. It's not taking into account the 3 to 4% to 5% appreciation the property is earning every year. That's what the beautiful thing about real estate is. If the investment is secure, you're putting money in and you're making money from it as you're making cash flow in the scenario that you looked at that makes cash flow, not the one that's negative cash flow. But if you're making money on the long-term basis when the real estate's also growing for you. So if 15 years passed by, you bought this house for 450, now you paid the loan amount down, say to 150, but the house is worth 700. All that money in there, the difference between the loan amount and the value is the equity sitting there. So when you sell the property, those are going to be your capital gains that you make. Now, obviously, if you don't reinvest that into another property, you'll have taxes on that. That's a topic for a different day, but that's another factor that we did not discuss here. Step number 7, the last step, which I feel like is the most important step, is to make an offer. Whenever I get a new client that comes over to me and tells me, hey, I've been looking in the market for about 7 months and I couldn't get anything, the question that I ask them is, well, how many offers did you make? And 99 times out of 100, the answer is, I've made no offers. So it's very important that you do your homework, you put your team together, you follow these steps, and if you find a potential deal that you know has good numbers, it's showing once you've done your homework, make an offer on it. Don't be afraid to pull the trigger. Run the numbers with your real estate agent, lowball it if you have to. Make an offer that is fitting to your budget and to your numbers and see what happens. Guys, if you don't hook the worm on that hook and you don't throw that hook into the water, you're not gonna catch the fish. So go out there and make offers, do your homework. I hope this video was insightful to you. Until next time, this is Karan Singh.